The year 2003 can be considered by many to be one of the most important or impactful years during the acclaimed Ruthless Aggression era. However, there's too much from 2003 between the Raw and SmackDown brands on both Monday and Thursday to cover it in a single video. Therefore, we're creating a two-part series, ushering in the era of Ruthless Aggression in 2003. So we're going to kick it off with the first weekly show. Why would you do it any other way? So our first episode, or part 1 of 2003 in the WWE, is going to be covering the flagship show in Monday Night Raw. We must start our journey through Monday nights with the main guy on Monday nights. The main man on Monday Night Raw. Not Mr. Monday Night, but the Game, and the multiple-time World Heavyweight Champion in Hunter Hearst Helmsley, or Triple H. However, it wasn't just Helmsley and the fact that he was taking the beginning steps toward his acclaimed and famed reign of terror. It was a legend, along with a pair of young upstarts, and the Game by their side, that evolved the Raw brand. Triple H, along with the multiple-time world champion in the Nature Boy Ric Flair, took hold of Ohio Valley Wrestling's Randy Orton, the son of Cowboy Bob Orton, and the Leviathan, or Dave Batista, and launched a major faction, or what would become a major faction, throughout the Ruthless Aggression era and throughout the Raw brand. The group kicked off in the beginning of the year, but accomplished plenty in just a short time. Their accolades included a tag title run for both Batista and the Nature Boy Ric Flair, an Intercontinental Championship run for the son of Cowboy Bob Orton, and of course, multiple World Championship wins, and some short reigns for the leader of the group in the Game, Triple H. 03 and 04 would also push us towards eventual championship reigns for the other younger members of the group in Randy Orton and Batista, when Randy Orton would become the youngest World Heavyweight Champion at the time by defeating Chris Benoit at SummerSlam in 2004, and then Dave Batista would go on to win the World Heavyweight Championship by defeating his leader in Evolution in Triple H at WrestleMania 21 after winning the 2005 Royal Rumble. We'll come back to the Game a little bit later on in the video, but he could be considered to be solely responsible for our next topic, which was the unleash of unmasked Kane on the Raw roster. Because it would be Triple H who defended his World Heavyweight Championship in a title versus mask match on an episode of Monday Night Raw, due to the chagrin of the current general manager or assistant general manager alongside Eric Bischoff and Stone Cold Steve Austin. And whether it was by hook or by crook, it would be the Game and Hunter Hearst Helmsley who would retain his World Heavyweight Championship, forcing Kane to unmask. And although he got plenty of encouragement from his tag team partner at the time in Mr. Monday Night and Rob Van Dam, I don't think RVD or the fans in attendance, or the fans watching at home, had any idea the type of demons that Kane was hiding behind that mask since 1997. The dirt-covered face was revealed as Kane would chokeslam his former friend and tag team partner and unleash a plague over the Monday Night Raw roster. The monster destroyed his former partner in a fit of rage and would go on to dismantle members of the Raw roster one by one. Two of the most memorable members of the Raw roster, which the Big Red Machine launched his initial attacks at, would be one half of the Raw announce team in good old JR, Jim Ross, who would interview Kane much like he did Mankind in 1996 or 1997. However, this time, it wouldn't just be an attack that would leave Jim Ross unconscious. It would be an attack followed by the setting on fire of Jim Ross that would launch us into this era of Unmasked Kane. And even security and shackles could not contain the chaos that the Big Red Machine would unleash on Monday nights. However, after an attack on Linda McMahon, where he would tombstone the helpless lady and former wife, at least in storyline perspective, of Vincent Kennedy McMahon on the solid steel stage, the return of her and Vince's son in Shane McMahon, a man who we hadn't seen since the Attitude Era, was done in not only an effort to defend his family, but in an effort to rid the Red brand of this powerful, somewhat demonic force. A multitude of matches and attacks occurred between the two rivals amongst Shane's return. These included Shane putting the Big Red Machine through the announce table, whilst Kane would electrocute the McMahon family jewels via solid steel jumper cables. And their most memorable encounter, you may ask, would come via an ambulance match in November's Survivor Series for 2003. Kane would go on to defeat Shane McMahon at the Survivor Series, but end the night by attacking his brother, his long-lost brother, in The Undertaker, aiding in Vincent Kennedy McMahon winning the Buried Alive match in the main event. This would write The Undertaker off of television going into WrestleMania 20 in 2004, where The Undertaker would return and take on his brother Kane whilst successfully defending his historic WrestleMania undefeated streak when he would return as the Phenom. To cap off Raw in 2003, we saw one of the most anticipated debuts on the WWE roster in quite some time. That being the former WCW megastar and the former WCW World Champion in Bill Goldberg, where he would debut on an episode of Raw leading into April's Backlash, and in doing so would interrupt one of the megastars of the company, The Rock, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, as he was completing another one of his iconic Rock concerts. In a way, being a celebration for The Rock defeating Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 19. However, this would set up the next feud for April's Backlash, where it would be the WWE megastar in The Rock taking on the WCW megastar that many people believed, alongside Sting, would show up during the WCW invasion in 2001. So at Backlash 2003, it was The Rock representing the WWE, and in a way, Bill Goldberg representing World Championship Wrestling. The match would live up to expectations and see the new machine, the new unstoppable force, conquer the People's Champion. This would lead to a championship match at SummerSlam inside the Elimination Chamber, where the World Heavyweight Champion in the game Triple H would defend his World Heavyweight title against a bunch of men, including the likes of Bill Goldberg. Many people believing that this would be the crowning moment for the WCW megastar inside World Wrestling Entertainment. However, fans got not what they expected, nor what they wanted, where Triple H was able to defend his World Heavyweight Championship with the help of his Evolution team members alongside his signature foreign object in the sledgehammer, as he countered a spear with a sledgehammer shot to the side of the head and was able to follow up into the cover and retain the gold. Fans hated this decision, saying it was WWE's way of continuing to push WCW further down the drain and claim superiority as the top wrestling company in the world. This may be true, but it would result in a chase for the World Championship for the WCW star in Goldberg and an eventual victory to become the champion at September's Unforgiven pay-per-view. Goldberg would successfully retain the title against the game at the following November's Survivor Series, but the reign would end soon after at December's Armageddon, where it would be a triple threat match between the champion in Goldberg taking on the former champion in the game alongside the Big Red Machine and the Monster in Unmasked Kane. This would be where Kane would hit a chokeslam to the champion in Goldberg. However, Triple H and Batista would pull Kane out of the ring, allowing for the game to crawl into the cover, get the 1-2-3, and become the World Heavyweight Champion again. This would end the December Raw exclusive Armageddon pay-per-view with all members of Evolution holding gold atop the stage. Randy Orton being the Intercontinental Champion, Batista and Ric Flair being the Raw World Tag Team Champions, and the man in the middle, the main guy who started off our video, in the game Triple H holding the World Heavyweight Championship to cap off 2003. Overall, there were some questionable decisions amongst the Red brand in 2003, but it created memorable moments in matches which are etched in the history of the Ruthless Aggression era. It may not have had SmackDown beat in terms of match quality, but many would agree that the storylines of the flagship quote-unquote A show were more well thought out and had a higher emotional quality for the fans in attendance and the fans watching at home. If we're looking at brand warfare, that's a hard question to ask between Raw and SmackDown because they both were the best in certain aspects when breaking it down. However, this will conclude part 1 of our Ushering In an Era series for 2003. Don't forget to wait for part 2 where we'll cover the Blue brand and SmackDown, which I feel like you're going to enjoy just as much, if not more, than how we covered Monday Night Raw. I'm your host, Double M. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell with the sledgehammer to catch all future uploads for the premier mixed martial arts and pro wrestling channel on YouTube.